What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Thank God for Wrestling podcast. It's been a minute, but be that as in may, I'm co-host number one, CJ McClure.
Host number two, Johnny King. Actually, we're gonna stop. It's John. Let's do John from now on. It's a new era. We're gonna take the Johnny away. We're gonna go John King. John King.
Fair enough. With that being said, though, it's been a minute, but a lot to talk about the past couple weeks, so we're just going to do an overview of it. Raw on Netflix, new era in the streaming era, money moves for the WWE, 10-year deal with Netflix, started off with the bang. What are your thoughts, John?
Bro. First, I had to look up because I was like, I forgot how much the deal was, and it was like $5 billion. 5 billion Netflix deal. Like they can literally do anything they want. First show, I'm not gonna lie. First show was a little anticlimactic. 4 matches for 3 hours. It's like, okay, give and take. Match of the night for me was obviously the Punk Rollins match. The Drew J match was kind of a sleeper match. The Liv Rhea match wasn't really all that. The Roman solo match, it was okay, just typical bloodline match. But yeah, man, it was just good to see. It felt like we got life injected back into WWE again. Like it's a new era. Everyone's excited. Um, it wasn't that many stories further than that show. It was just kind of 4 matches. We were gonna do some promos in between, but uh, the show we got on this past Monday, that was a great show. Like I'm excited to be a wrestling fan.
Right. Yeah, I think as far as Raw on Netflix goes, I think Roman and Solo and Punk and Rollins were only the only matches really worth watching.
Yeah.
I did like Liv Morgan versus Rhea. Um, I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was Liv Morgan kicked out of the Riptide just
Yeah,
naturally.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I mean, like even though she lost and Rhea's got the title back, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that is like her kicking out of the Riptide,
Mm-hmm.
which very few people have done, kind of
Mm-hmm.
establishes Liv like so as a top female competitor. Um, I really like Roman versus Solo for what it was. I would just say my only nitpick was I'm getting tired of the constant interference and like bloodline rules or tribal combat matches. That's getting
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
But I mean, but apart from that, I mean, I liked it what it was. I mean, this is the very first time Roman and Solo had faced one-on-one, and there was hype to the match. I understand why you say it was anticlimactic because there wasn't really much I feel like that happened storyline wise, like throughout the whole show. Um, this is probably a video in of itself, but The Rock, he's kind of the wild card in all this. I mean, WrestleMania 41 already has so much unpredictability as it is of like all the directions they can go to as far as matches go. Will The Rock be a part of that? Like I was
yeah.
sitting on the edge of my seat at the end of that match on when he put the lay on Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Was he gonna rock bottom him after the hug? Was he gonna
Mm-hmm.
do a low blow? Was Paul gonna align with him? And it didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen, which it didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth, but I was like, okay, well, where do we go from here? Is Rock just trying to be like, nah, I don't really feel like it. Like, does he just not want to
Yeah,
wrestle now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because like now, what was the point of him coming back at Bad Blood and doing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and like slitting the throat? I personally thought that was a tease of a triple threat match for Rock, Cody, and Roman. But now we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing reports there's going to be Roman versus Punk at WrestleMania. Some people are saying it's going to be Roman and Cody again. They're going to do the trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of opponents for John Cena. So I don't know. I mean, it's exciting that there's so many options that the WWE can go with, but I kind of like you, I was expecting there just to be a little bit of storyline development.
Yeah, I just didn't I could get behind Rock coming out to give Roman the Ulla Fala, put it back on his neck, put it back around his neck. What I couldn't get was why they had Rock and Cody just act like they weren't feuding aggressively around WrestleMania season. Um, like how are we just gonna move past that? Like even if you are playing the executive role as Rock was trying to do, like what how you're like you're insulting our intelligence at this point. You're acting like we forgot that you were literally beating him outside of his tour bus in the rain, like to further a storyline. And it's like Like, what are you gonna wrestle? Or are you not gonna wrestle? Like, what are you gonna do? Even if you aren't gonna wrestle, I want you to still play into the storyline. Like, just don't forget it didn't happen. Try to forget it didn't happen. So I don't know.
Right.
That's the only thing that grinded my gears a little bit.
Yeah, and like I mean, he pulls up to NXT, and let's be honest, that appearance didn't really mean anything either. I mean, like
No.
I mean, it was to say that The Rock went to NXT is so kind of cool in of itself. I mean, in the
Yeah.
segment, I mean, the crowd was hyped for it. I mean,
Hmm.
and NXT chants while The Rock's in the ring is pretty cool. Was pretty cool to
Hmm.
see. But like
Yeah.
again, no really further story development apart from the fact that he called us out saying that like, oh, you got mad at me last year for doing this to Cody, and now
Hmm.
you're getting mad at me for being nice to Cody. Well, the final boss is 20 steps ahead. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
fair enough, but I hope
Hmm.
it goes somewhere if you're 20 steps ahead.
Hmm.
But we got time. Maybe Dwayne shows up at the Royal Rumble. I don't know. I mean, but
Yeah.
I'm not, my gears are completely grinded. I mean, I have enough faith that the roster is so much depth right now, and there is so many directions with different main events and just big time matches they can go with in WrestleMania this year. It's just unpredictability. Like you
Yeah.
can make like the Royal Rumble as far as winners go. I got some educated guesses, but I'm not that confident in them because I don't know. Like
Yeah.
last year, we kind of knew. This year,
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Regarding, we can talk about Royal Rumble. Just bring it up. Cena declared for the Royal Rumble on
True.
the on Raw. I hope they don't have Cena win. I feel like that'd be too predictable, too easy. Like have him go through some stuff before he gets his WrestleMania shot. Like have him have to grind for it.
I'm thinking. There's an argument for both sides, right? Because Cena
Yeah.
wins, he ties Stone Cold for most Royal Rumble wins of all time.
Hmm.
Like how he's already tied with Ric Flair, for
Yeah.
world title wins of all time. My educated guesses on the Rumble are either Punk or Cena.
Yeah.
As far as women's go, I really don't know. Io Sky is my best guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, but I saw somebody say online, and I think this would be really cool to see. Back when Shawn Michaels, when he was trying to win the Royal Rumble so he can get the Undertaker in a rematch of the world
Hmm.
title, just like how just desperate he was to win. I mean,
Hmm.
like he turned on Triple H to win that match. Like he
Hmm.
eliminated Triple H, and just like the drama and the desperateness of when Batista eliminated Shawn, and like Shawn is just fighting for his life. I like to see that with John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, the last time is now. I need to win the Royal Rumble to get one more shot, to go
Yeah.
out on top. Like, I think that'd be cool to see, but then you got Punk, and I really feel like Punk is going to main event one of the WrestleManias, one of the nights. We
Hmm.
got to figure out what that favor from Paul Heyman is, and I think that's
Hmm.
what it is, at least a part of it, which is why Punk versus Roman might happen. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's so much they can do. Like, there's really is a lot of unpredictability.
Yeah. I like you said, there's an argument from both sides. What match do you think if Rome or if Cena doesn't win the Royal Rumble, what match do you think they would go with for WrestleMania?
For John, or just like the
Yeah,
main
for John,
events?
for John.
I mean, I can't just pick one because again, there's a lot of options. But I would either say Logan Paul, because
Yeah.
Logan Paul has been wanting to face Cena since he came to WWE.
Hmm.
Randy, 'cause Cena and Randy, they've never had a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. Closest
Hmm.
they came was WrestleMania 24 in the triple threat match with Cena, Orton, and Triple H.
Hmm.
I want to say Punk, but I just don't think it'd be a WrestleMania. I think it'll be eventually, but I don't know about Mania. And then probably either Gunther or Cody, just for the sake of
Yeah.
putting John in the world title picture. I mean, Cody and Cena, that's going to be like the modern day Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior in
Yeah.
the sense of like
Yeah.
babyface versus babyface main eventing
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah. I can definitely see if he doesn't win the Royal Rumble, Logan. If he does win, Gunther. I can see him facing Gunther.
Right.
I feel like we need to save Punk and Randy, and I mean we need to save Punk and Cena and Randy and Cena for like a little bit down the line,
Right.
because those were his like two biggest rivals, uh, not including Brock. But we got to get that. We have to get one more Randy feud as Randy as a heel, and we need Punk as a heel again.
True. I think one underrated choice that people aren't talking about enough is have Cena face Braun Breaker for the IC title,
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I believe that's gonna happen. That's definitely
right?
gonna happen.
Because
Yeah,
it's the one title he hasn't won.
yeah, that's definitely gonna happen for sure, for sure. And then regarding Roman, man, I think they're gonna have Roman face Drew because Drew is on like he's on like a revenge tour, bro. Especially after he just lost to Jay. Um, he wants Roman, like he wants Roman. He attacked Roman like what last week, 2 weeks ago. Um, so yeah, man, I think they're gonna have Roman face Drew, and I think Drew's gonna go over Roman.
You know, and I was even thinking about that the other day because like when I was watching the segment with Punk and Rollins and they both declare for the Rumble and then Drew came out and then he
Mm,
declares for the Rumble.
mm,
Um yeah, I was thinking that in the back of my head. I'm like, are they going to come full circle from Clash of the Castle? And is Drew
mm,
finally going to get payback on Roman?
mm.
And world title or not, I mean, Drew can get another WrestleMania moment, just from beating Roman in Mania. I mean, Roman has the record for most WrestleMania main
Yeah,
events in history. So I mean, he doesn't really need another
yeah,
win. He's already over as it is. Again, man, a lot of possibilities, a lot of routes they can take.
yeah.
Especially, I think people sleep on the fact that Drew and Roman, this would be a WrestleMania rematch from WrestleMania 35. And that
Mm,
match that year was okay. It wasn't
yeah,
bad,
yeah,
but like it's the story and the characters now are going to be so much better. I mean, both these guys are just at their like peak forms right now.
yeah. Because I don't think, no disrespect to Jay Uso, but I don't think they would have Drew lose to Jay just to continue losing. Like there's definitely something coming in store for them for sure.
Yeah. Punk and Rollins on Raw on Netflix. Liked it. I felt like it lived up to the hype. I do wish they just had a little more time. And I do, with that
Hmm.
being said, I hope that they face one more time, one on one, like on a pay-per-view, so they have more
Yeah,
time. The match was still good. Don't get me wrong. It was a good match. I mean, it's amazing seeing how much more fluid like Punk is in the ring since he tore his tricep last year. Like you could tell he definitely got in like much better shape when he was not
yeah.
just recovering the tricep, but just in general in his body. Um, this is my takeaway from that match. Seth Rollins always does business.
Hmm. Hmm.
Doesn't like Punk in real life. I mean, you look back on 2021, he lost the feud to Edge, like in the trilogy. He hadn't won a pay-per-view match until he finally beat Matt Riddle. Lost to Cody. He was swept by Cody in 2022. Finally does get the world title win, last year
Yeah.
against AJ Styles. But like Seth Rollins is the Triple H of his generation.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not the top guy, but
Hmm.
he's like always kind of in the
Yeah.
atmosphere with
Yeah.
the top
Yeah.
guy,
Hmm.
Like I feel like the only time Rollins was really the top guy face of the company was 2015. Cashed in Money in the
Yeah.
Bank, his first world
Yeah.
title, and then held the WWE and US title at the same time.
Yeah.
Still the only wrestler to do
Yeah.
that.
That
But
was peak
like,
Rollins. Yeah.
right. But like he's always kept himself relevant. He's always been over with the crowd as a face or a heel. Has still had world title reigns since 2015.
Hmm.
But like not that often has he really been the top guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's always done business.
Yeah. I will say they made Punk look like Superman because Rollins hit him. Rollins did two pedigrees, two GTSs, and a stomp, and Punk kicked out of all of them. And then Punk just hits him with two GTSs, and then he wins.
You see the cut that
Yeah,
Seth had under his cheek.
that
That
was
yeah,
wild.
that,
Yeah,
that was real. I think like that's like
yeah,
I think they're like we're gonna put on a good match because we're
yeah,
professionals, but we're gonna get a few hits in ourselves since we
yeah,
really
yeah,
don't like
yeah,
each other.
yeah, yeah. Literally, you could tell. And then after the match was over, you could see Punk say, check on him," because he knew he was hurt.
Oh, he said check on Seth.
Yeah, he said, "Check on him." Yeah,
Oh, actually, I missed that.
yeah,
I
that
mean,
was crazy.
Punk was like, like when he got interviewed after the match, he was like grabbing his body and wincing. So I didn't know if that was real or if he was just
Hmm.
selling. And
Hmm.
that's when wrestling's like is at its peak, right?
Yeah,
Like when fiction and reality gets meshed in together, and then you're like,
yeah.
is this real? Is this scripted?
Hmm. Hmm.
And to quote "He who shall remain nameless," real issues make real money.
Hmm.
So I mean, Punk and Rollins always knew there was money to be made between them, even though they don't like each other.
Yeah, I'm just glad they were able to put the differences aside. Like, because this has been brewing forever. It's been brewing since Punk returned. What,
100%.
14 months ago, 12 months ago, however long ago
Yep.
it was. But yeah, man. So Raw Netflix, the first show, we got some good things out of it. But the one on Monday was definitely great. Punk declared for the Royal Rumble. Um, so we're gonna see. I feel like he's gonna win, especially what happened to him last Rumble. He tore his tricep. Um, I think they're gonna give it to him, and I think he's gonna go and try to face Gunther.
Should be an interesting match, like interesting clash of styles.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it, but I think they would be able to mesh for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
Like Gunther, I feel like can really put on a good match of the broomstick at this point.
yeah,
So, I don't really have any doubt about that, but it's just like I guess to compare apples and oranges, we were all dreaming of Edge versus AJ Styles, but then those
hmm
matches were kind of flops.
yeah.
For
You're
some
right.
reason, their
Yeah,
styles just didn't mesh together. So, I mean, on paper, the match seems great.
yeah,
So, we'll obviously see what happens. But Penta, man, what a debut.
bro. I've been so hyped because like I've been watching Penta and AW for like past like 2 3 years. Um, and he's just a beast, bro. Like he's just his style, his vibe, his aesthetic, bro. It's just so great, and to see him like take that from AW and then put it on WWE platform, bro, he's gonna be so over. It's gonna be great. His debut was second to none.
So full transparency, I completely forgot he was coming. So when they teased Gable's match against a
Mhm,
luchador, I
mhm.
thought it was going to be Rey Mysterio. So
Yeah,
when I
man.
saw Penta, I was like, "Oh, frick! Well, this is news to me." But on that note, I like to see Penta and Rey at WrestleMania.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. We're definitely gonna get that match for sure. We're
Right.
gonna get Penta Ray. We're gonna get Penta Dragon Lee. We're gonna get Penta Dom. I think he can hold the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. Like he has that
Potentially.
potential, and we haven't seen a luchador in that main event spot since Rey Mysterio.
True.
Um, so yeah, man, I'm excited, man. And this wasn't even Penta at his best. Like you could tell the nerves were getting to him a little bit. There was a few couple like botches, mess ups. Like they put it together, man. The match would turn out to be great. It was a great TV match.
Oh yeah. I apparently though I was reading an article that I guess a lot of the talent backstage wasn't really happy that his
Yeah, I
debut,
saw that.
like the match and his promo after went a little longer than expected. So I guess like some of the matches afterwards had to get cut down short.
Mm-hmm.
Sheamus and Kaiser was cut down a little short, and then the women's IC title match was cut a little short as well.
Yeah,
And they weren't happy about that, which I understand, but. I guess what I'm confused about is why was that a big deal when they have a little more freedom as far as time
yeah,
goes on Netflix? Like
yeah.
that's what I don't
Yeah.
get.
I feel like that may have been like an exaggeration because I read that too. Because his segment was only like a minute 30, like after the promo, maybe like a minute 32 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Um, and in AW, he never really cut promos, so I'm glad that they gave him the mic in WWE. You can tell he's been working on his English. Yeah, yeah, man,
Right.
it was great. Like, and the crowd already loves him. They're already doing the like.
Yep.
It's gonna get crazy, man. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's in store for him.
And kudos to Gable, man, for being able to go in there and still put on a good match, with someone
Yeah,
that's new. I mean that
yeah,
I mean this is just further evidence of just how great Gable is as an in-ring performer.
yeah. Gable's getting. I think American Made's going to SmackDown. Um, the Wides got sent to SmackDown, which like no one really knew, but they're going to SmackDown now.
I'm getting a little worried about the Wyatts.
Me too, man. I didn't want to say it, but like, what are we doing with them? Like,
Yeah.
why aren't they on TV weekly? Like, we haven't seen them in a minute. Like, what are we? You know?
I mean, I do feel like something like this faction and this gimmick does need to be displayed like on special occasions. So, but like as far as being there in person, I would say show them like bi-weekly. But
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
could still like I remember I went to the Raw right before Survivor Series. It
hmm
was the last Raw beforehand. And Scarlett, Karrion Cross's wife, there was the segment backstage with her, and like you see like whatever her name is, Sister Abigail, I guess, but Nikki
Yeah.
Cross, like who plays
hmm
her. Like you just saw her in like the background, like mirroring of the mirror, and then they come back to like the room is just destroyed. And I was like, yeah,
Mm,
like we need just tidbits of that every week, just
yeah,
showing that like they're still lurking in the background, causing chaos. And then like as far as in person goes or in ring, every couple weeks or maybe 3 weeks, like less is more, you know?
yeah,
But
yeah, for sure, for sure.
I don't know, maybe WWE itself just can't book a character like this ever since The Undertaker. Maybe that's they just put all their
Yeah, no,
creativeness in
literally.
that.
And I wish that Uncle Howdy or Bo would wrestle without the mask because the whole group is wrestling without their masks. Like, just let Bo wrestle without the mask
True.
because we know it's Bo. Like, Uncle Howdy is more of his alter ego. So like, I don't really understand the mask in the ring. That's the only thing I'm like, just take the mask off.
I do like how like especially when they first started, how it was like Uncle Howdy was interviewing Bo Dallas.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
I
like
love
that because
that.
that reminded me of back during COVID when Cena was gonna face the Fiend in WrestleMania, and it was the last SmackDown before WrestleMania. And like he's looking at the Fiend from the distance, you know, like he's standing up top and John's like staring him down. And then Ray popped up behind him saying, "Let me in." And like
Yeah.
it kind of like made you question like, oh, they're two different beings, you know, like in the sense like yeah, like Bray let him in, but like they're separate. So like
Yeah,
that's what was
yeah,
kind of cool, and I like that they're doing that as well with like Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. And then the
Which
feud with
yeah,
Carrion just kind of get like just thrown away. They kind of just threw that away.
yeah, like and when I feel bad, I don't even think it's any of the talent's fault. Like Hunter,
No,
what are you doing, bro? Like why are you just putting them
yeah,
on the shelf?
yeah,
Because like there's potential there,
yeah. I don't know,
but
man. But women's IC title final, man. Lyra Valkyria. She is the first women's Intercontinental champion. I was pulling for Dakota Kai. I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of had a feeling that they would give it to Lyra because Lyra's like their golden child right now. They're investing a lot in Lyra for sure.
yeah, I didn't know initially who was gonna win because I just felt like there was a good argument for both. Like I know Dakota's been in WWE like longer, so I
Hmm.
mean I don't know if you call her a veteran at this point, but you know she's been here longer and she's been involved in more storylines longer. But Dakota will eventually get her own singles title. I mean she's
Yeah,
too
for
talented
sure.
not to, but just Lyra is kind of like the bee's knees at the moment. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and I was also at the Raw before Survivor Series where they announced the women's IC title. I saw Pierce
Hmm.
do that, and I'm all for, you know, the women wrestlers just continue getting more chances to shine and display their talent. You know, like Chelsea Green, well deserved for the women's US title. And that was probably, in my opinion, the match of the night back at Saturday night's main event. But title overload is my concern, as well as are these titles going to get displayed on pay-per-view,
Yeah.
this other than the big four pay-per-views?
Hmm.
And really the answer is probably not. I mean,
No.
Hunter is so Hunter's so just kind of dead set on doing 5 matches per PLE,
Hmm.
unless it's WrestleMania, of course.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think they're just more for like weekly television. Um,
Right.
but I mean, if they can build in enriching stories during these like title reigns, then I feel like it'll be good.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially because now both Raw and like SmackDown's 3 hours and Raw is,
Hmm.
I guess, still flexible with their time. So like more
Yeah.
titles, more storylines, more TV time for wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah. Although last Raw, it went off around like 10:30, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We got the Damien, that match. I'm not gonna lie, I love that match, the Damien Finn Balor match.
Not to hold your words against you, but like I remember a year ago when you
I
said
know,
a Damian Priest world title reign would be the
I
most
know,
mid thing ever.
I know.
You got to give Priest his flowers, man.
I do because he was carrying Raw, like he was carrying Raw for a good amount of time. Like he was a great transitional champion, and I think he's gonna be champion again. And the amount of growth we've seen, especially like in ring promos, is crazy. Like he's gotten way more confident. He's gotten way more
So,
composed. His cadence is way better. And those spots they were pulling off on Monday was crazy. So
yeah.
yeah, I just want to see Finn Balor get a win, bro. He needs to win. I want to see one more Finn Balor title reign. Like, and they apparently since he resigned, apparently there was rumors that they have a lot in store for him. So I'm waiting for see what in store that is. I don't know.
I feel like in this year, 2025, both Balor and Drew McIntyre are going to get world title reigns at some
I hope
point.
so. I hope so.
Like Drew especially. I mean, just the character work he did in his feud
Yeah,
against Punk. I
yeah.
mean, I don't want to say Drew and Punk overshadowed Seth and Punk because obviously, like, it was kind of parallel. Well, they all hated each
Mm,
other, right? I mean, I don't think
mm,
Drew and Seth actually hate each other in real life, but storyline
mm,
wise, they all hate each other. So I
yeah.
mean, they were kind of parallel. But like again, like Drew did business too. He lost the Hell in a Cell match to Punk, so
Hmm,
he lost
hmm,
the feud. So, but like, does business. Drew's been
yeah,
doing business ever since he came back.
yeah. And the good thing about Drew is whenever he gets like the busted open interview he did, you couldn't tell if it was kayfabe or not, and like that just
Yeah.
adds to his character. He's
So,
so good for sure, for sure.
yeah, he's definitely been kind of bringing kayfabe back in the sense of like he's taking his character with it wherever he goes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's great at his job, man. But yeah, that last week's Raw or this past week's Raw that was a prime example of how I would like Raw on Netflix to be. Storylines are
Right.
further. We see enriching stories. We get great wrestling. Yeah, man. Well, the biggest takeaway was definitely Penta. Penta, man. Penta,
100%.
Penta. I'm surprised they kept his name, just straight Penta. No Pentagon Jr., no Pentel Zero, just straight Penta, which I kind of like it. I kind of like it. And
I
his
mean,
presentation was great.
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, future's bright, but I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but you can't help but wonder when and how this boom in wrestling is going to end. Like
Yeah,
I guess like how long can they keep the momentum going?
yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like especially with AEW kind of on like a downslide right now, more than a downslide. I feel like they can keep this momentum going, especially because we're supposed to get Malachi Black back over in WWE too. Um, and then I feel like Ricky Starks will eventually come over. So I feel like they just and all the NXT talent that's gonna end up coming up. I think Roxanne's probably gonna get pushed to the main roster soon. Trick Williams is gonna come to the main roster. Yeah, man. So I feel like they're in a good place.
NXT is stacked, bro. Let me tell
Bro,
you.
stacked, stacked, bro.
Like
I
this
feel
is
like
the stack
they need
I've
yeah
been in.
they just need more main event male talent. Their female talent is they have the best women's division in all of wrestling, I believe. They just need
100%.
more male main event talent for sure.
100%. We'll obviously talk more in depth about the Royal Rumble when we get closer to it, but I said it last year, and I'm going to go ahead and say this prediction again. Trick Williams will be in the Rumble match. He is going to
Oh,
come
for
out,
sure, for
and
sure.
Indianapolis is going to serenade him with "Whoop That Trick" chants as
Yeah,
he's walking to the ring in the Rumble. Like we have to see that.
yeah. He's definitely gonna be in the Rumble. Um, yeah, yeah. The Rumble's gonna be it's gonna be special, I think, because we don't know what's gonna happen. They could go many different ways.
Yeah, I mean we got Punk, Roman, Seth, Drew, Cena. I mean
Yeah,
that not to mention all the surprise entrants that they're probably going to
yeah,
do. Like
yeah,
that it's could be sacked. Like,
yeah,
there's a reason the Royal Rumble is kind of up there with WrestleMania.
yeah, for
I
sure,
don't
for
blame
sure.
Michael Cole for saying the Rumble is his favorite event of the year.
Yeah, because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like anything can
Yeah,
happen, and it sets up WrestleMania. So
right.
one match can change it all, man. I really think what happens at WrestleMania depends on The Rock. Everything is revolving around The Rock. Like if The Rock wrestles, the matches will be have to be changed as such. If he doesn't wrestle, like they'll change, like they'll work around it. But
And I think to your point on WWE being in a good place is they don't really need Dwayne,
no, they don't.
but if he can be there,
Yeah.
obviously they're gonna make more money and a match, or maybe
Hmm.
two matches if Dwayne wants to wrestle too, who knows? But a match for sure is gonna be bigger box office.
Yeah.
But it is starting to sound a little disappointing that we may or may not get Roman versus Rock. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and is Dwayne in his prime anymore? No.
No.
Does he move as good as he did back in like 2011, 2012? No. But he can still go, and he proved that
Yeah.
last year. Like,
Yeah.
so
For sure. For
credit
sure.
where credit's due. But like, Father Time catches up to everybody. Look at John.
Indeed. Indeed.
So we just it's a timing thing. I mean, I would just hate for Roman and Rock to be like in the category of like Undertaker and Sting, like
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
one of the greatest matches that could have happened but
Hmm.
didn't.
Hmm. Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. Royal Rumble is in February 1st.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, man. How do you feel about 3 hour SmackDown before you wrap it up?
Yeah, before we wrap it up, I was at the first 3 hour SmackDown. So I saw Tiffy time get started,
Okay.
man. Let me tell you, that was freaking hype. Also got to be I sent this to you. I got to be not backstage, but where Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy were
Mm-hmm.
walking to make their entrance to the crowd. I was that close to them. That was super cool. I like it just because, again, I think more TV time for more talent. But they
Mm-hmm.
just got to execute that to the
Yeah.
right way. They got to
Yeah.
make the most of their time. They can't. I don't want to say sometimes filler's good, sometimes filler's okay, but like you just got to make them. To quote Dusty Rhodes, make the most of your minutes. That's what you
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I get it. I think it does make sense from a business perspective. But yeah, I mean we'll see how they execute.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Anywho, we missed you guys, man. We will explain our absence in another video, so just stay tuned for that. But I wanted to do a quick recap on everything that's happened, as well as like what's to come. Preview why we haven't been very active, life. But again, we'll explain more on that later. But we're gonna do our very best to talk wrestling with you guys once again. But with all that being said, I'm CJ McClure. Thank God for wrestling.
Yeah, man. Just life, man. We're at a point where in our life where we're growing, getting our career started. So gotta have priorities, but this is we're gonna make time for this like we had before, yeah. So yeah, man. John King, thank God for wrestling, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.